Namato Ratana Tayasa. May I pay homage to Triple Them, the Buddha, Dharma, and the Sangha. My respect goes to my parents and my teachers. So today is Monday, 11th May. This is Achan Sujan from Varapunya Meditation Center, Aberdeen, Scotland. Hi everyone. Hi Karina. Hi Margaret. Hi Sarala. Hi everyone. So as usual, I am here with you on this evening to speak with you and share some of the insights. This week been a very busy week so far, but now just the easing off at the moment. And before I go ahead, I would like to extend my appreciation and thanks to our members who have sent some donations of hand sanitizer and also other necessary items. Simply was told to keep it to welcome our members when the lockdown ends. So that's the reason why our members generously send these sanitizer and wipers and other items for keeping a safe distance, so and so. And also got masks. I got a message from our members that some of them have got a mask and some of haven't received it. Hopefully, if you haven't received even in a couple of days or today or tomorrow, just let me know and we will post again. Hello Colin, hello Simone, Danmaya, hello Prani, John. So hi everyone. I hope you did enjoy the snow. If you are in Scotland, you experience snow, and today also very cold, still cold. Hopefully, and it will get better in due time. Yes, Colin, got connections with you now. Oh, good. Yes, so there are a few questions came up as well. Questions about different Buddhas, and a question about Buddha's teachings, and also on the basic teachings of the Buddha. On the base of the 5 precepts. How Simone? Sawadee krab, we are from Italy. Oh, hello Italy. Okay. So yes, so there are plenty questions came to me and to ask me to speak on. Manish, hello Manish. Yeah. So in this case, I will go one by one, slowly, but I would like to give you a foundation ground that when we are going to study Buddha's principles or the teachings, first, we have to understand that there are 2 things to understand. One is living a moral life, and the second is having a right understanding. These are the 2 basic fundamentals that we have to keep in our mind. Sometimes people want to do good things, but occasionally doing good things, but the rest of other times involving in unwholesome actions. whether it is speaking or whether it is doing, or even in terms of a thinking that wish I could have that one, that's or wish I could have this one, and like that. So those mental state normally people have. And even when we look at ourselves, comparing towards the cultivation of a good actions and the negative actions, which action normally it takes control or maximum activities that we do. And normally when we do the good actions, it takes a faith and confidence, and other time again when we are going to do good things, there is always something to excuse. So that's why the first thing we have to be mindful of is developing this living a moral life. And here when we talk about the moral life, it is not just the 5 precepts, but it's about from the 5 precepts extended into our mental state as well. So I believe that you have studied 5 precepts and you remember the 5 precepts, and I have spoken a couple of times on these 5 precepts too. So bodily action that we have to be mindful are the 3. That's avoid or not killing any or harming any beings. That includes ourselves too. And the second is not taking which is not given. And the third, not having any sexual misconducts. So these are the 3 things that normally body does. And this we have to change from harming any beings or killing, developing the kindness and compassion, and rather than taking things that is not given, with generating the sharing nature, sharing mind. And in terms of the sexual misconduct, rather than indulgence or this so-called kame sumichachara, that basically it's not just about the sexual misconduct, but it is entertaining our 5 senses. So that's again restraining from that. And in terms of the verbal speech, and a verbal speech again, it can be not telling the truth, or the lying, gossiping, backbiting, and speaking harsh words. And in this time of a lockdown, I think plenty of people are using a very harsh word that hurt one another, and also obviously gossips are always there, and we have touched on that gossips one of the nights that I have explained on that. So these things should be mindful. In terms of the mind, again, 3 states of the mind. The one is willing to or thinking of having other people's possessions, or wanting to have it. And the second is this mindset of ill will. And this is again very dangerous, this ill will that always causes a trouble. And the last one is having a misunderstanding. And again, a misunderstanding is one of the great danger that one could have. So rather than having these misunderstandings, simply we're generating or establishing having a right understanding, and rather than having ill will, we're simply developing loving kindness. And rather than thinking mind which always thinking to take someone's possessions, is simply developing the compassion. So when we are conscious about these so-called 10 kusala or 10 wholesome actions, then we are in a position that we are ready to or the simile was given is like a field which is cleared to plant any seeds. Like in our kitchen garden, our kitchen garden wasn't used for so many years, and all the grass was overgrown for thicker and thicker. So we had to use the so-called digger to cut the grass first, cleaning that grass, and then bringing in this rotavator to dig the ground, and then going through that field for a couple of times and clearing all the weeds and all the stones, and then that is been ready to plant anything. So this is like that. In the practice of a Dhamma, first we have to have these things put it in a right place, and that's simply a cause, a good cause, and that helps us to be able to plant any good things in our minds and hearts. And that's why this is called the clearing the field. Anuttarang punyang ketang, clearing the field to plant. And once we have cleared it, what happens is we have to have a right understanding of these things as well. We have to have a right knowledge about things. And that's why the second principle that comes in is a right understanding. And here, right understanding, basically Buddha's teachings is about the Four Noble Truths. But going into Four Noble Truths is quite a big issue or big topic, which Buddha spoke almost 45 years. And it's been the discussion point and philosophical discussions and practical discussions going on ever since until now. So, but in a basic term, what we have to develop our understanding is the cause and effect. Whatever we do, it has a cause. It has an effect to ourselves, and then that also affects to the surroundings, and also that affects to the whole nature. Okay, so that's why this is the second principle that we have to understand in a right way, that whatever we do, it does matter, and that doing always defines our behaviors and our characters and our discipline, and that also our destiny defines from there too. And only once we have got a right understanding of these two, then from there we will be able to bring in different teachings into our life, different teachings into our practice. So when we look at the Buddha's teachings in a summary or in a short form, simply saying that do not do any bad things but do good things and purify our mind. And so the problem here is we talk about doing good things and encouraging good things, doing good things, but we never let go or undo the bad things. Okay, and that's the most important part in our day-to-day life. But Buddha's teachings, what Buddha's a summary of that teachings is that when we let go or eliminate doing any bad actions, then that basically supporting the good actions to emerge, good action to develop. But as a human being, it is very difficult. Although we want to have, or we want to generate or cultivate good things, but most of the time we are dealing or living with the bad behaviors, bad actions, like that. So that's why Buddha is simply laying down the foundation that in order to cultivate, in order to develop the good things, we have to give away or eliminate all the unwholesome activities, all unwholesome actions. And with that, the good things emerge, good things develop. And when good things develops, then that moment we realize that any action that we take, it has a reaction. And Buddha's teachings is simply saying that we shouldn't be waiting or expecting from external power or external things to give us or bless us. But the teachings of the Buddha is a cause and effect that you define. You will get it from what you have done. And that we can look at from the Buddha's lifetime or eons of life history. Buddha himself said in so many suttas that he had been practicing these two principles for so long, eons after eons, births after births. The first thing he was doing, most of the Jataka stories or previous lives of the Buddha, was simply purifying these unwholesome activities, unwholesome deeds. So each and every previous lives of the Buddha was simply explaining that each life he was concentrating on at least of one unwholesome state of the mind and eradicating that, or avoiding committing from that particular committing that action. And that's why most of the time he developed from there a right understanding of a cause and effect, and developed so much powers of understanding, and that's helped him to understand that in human nature we always like to excuse, and we always like to make like not to do with the excuses, like in the Singalavada Sutta. Simply as a human we normally excuse of not doing good things, but whenever there is a chance to do bad things, we never excuse not to do. So that's why I think a couple of years ago I was reading an article about the peace and war. It says that the article says that there are hundreds of reasons why we go to war, and that's how war develops. And even when we look at the war in Iraq, war in Afghanistan, so those wars again are based on so many reasons why we should go to war. But the article was simply suggesting that there are very limited, or there are none who give reasons why we don't go to the peace or promote peace. And even promoting peace been developed in a way the violence implemented. So this is how it works. Even we are like that too. So whenever there is a entertainment of our five senses, then we normally tend to go and immediately react on that without knowing the danger, without knowing or without concerning the rain or any different changes of the weather. But whereas when we are going to do good things, there we always have an excuse not to do, not to do, like because this is raining, because this is so hot, because this is so windy, I have just eaten, I need a rest, and so on. So there are six or seven reasons Buddha mentioned in that sutta, that why we neglect or lay back not to do that good things. So that's why this we have to purify first. Once we have fully purified, or at least soundly purified in these topics or these principles, and with that basically makes our mind so softer and conducive for planting any seeds in there. And that is anything that we plant in that field is like we realize the cause and effect, because we have planted. Whatever we plant, that plant will give us a fruit. It is not that we are planting a mango tree and expecting for the apples. And doesn't matter how hard we pray, or doesn't matter how much we spend time expecting an apple, it won't give an apple. It will give a mango. Okay, so that's the same simile is that once we understood this cause and effect, whatever we plant in our hearts and minds by action, and then that action again comes from bodily action, verbal action, and mental actions. So these three doors are the main door that we do the good or bad actions. And that's why once we have purified whatever we plant in our minds and heart, and that will be the positive or the good, and that will be beneficial for ourselves and then to others. And that simply we have done by ourselves, we have created by ourselves, and that's how it comes into the right understanding of cause and effect. And that's how when the Buddha was if we look at the Buddha's life, we can see that he became the Buddha by his own effort, not because of any external, or not because of somebody has imposed or somebody has given, but his own effort of eons of a lifetime, eons of a different lifetimes of a purification of these 10 kusala dhammas, and developing this right understanding. With that, day and night and life after life, he was planting these good seeds, and at the end he was so confident that he will be the Buddha. And that becoming the Buddha, again, he didn't become a Buddha only for himself. But if he was selfish and just for his own liberation, he would have liberated eons of times ago, when he first made a vow that he wanted to be a Buddha who can help people spreading this right message, and the people will follow this right message, and they will also become liberated. So that's why after he took this vow, again he went on to birth after birth until he became in enlightenment. And at that moment, when once he became enlightened, he simply said, these teachings is open for those who have got the ears. Let them hear and keep it into practice. So that's how it shows that it's up to us how we devote, or how we change, and then how much we dedicate in this practice. Once we have fulfilled these two principles in our day-to-day life, and able to change our views and change our attitude and become a character and disciplined with that, constantly mindful of that, and with that basically we are gradually bringing the teachings into the life, our life, and gradually we are following the Buddha's path. Sometimes people may say that I am a Buddhist, but how often they are practicing in accordance with the Buddha's principles? Sometimes they call themselves as a Buddhist, and how often they visit the temples, or how often they do practice or the chantings. And these again all comes as they purify their silas, so their precepts and the moral life. And this is again, it's not just the Buddhist, but the whole foundation anyone can practice. And this is like a human harmony that brings when one practice, because not harming or killing being doesn't say that it belongs to one religion or another. Not taking what is not given also doesn't say that it is only in Buddhism, but also in every religion. Not having a sexual misconduct, again, also in every religion too. And not telling lies, gossips, backbiting, harsh words. So these are again equal to any religion, but only different as sometimes the effort or the cause and effects, and that needs to be needs to be understood properly. Once we have understood properly, then we are in line to the teachings of the Buddha. So I offer this as a foundation building to go on to the answering rest of the questions that I received, and slowly in a couple of days I will follow those questions and then will answer them gradually. So I end tonight in here. So I hope you understand, and I hope that you will think about and reflect about your own moral ethical practices and purify your right understanding tonight. And once again, thank you everyone. So Nima, Lama, Nong, Sujan, Mahesh, Manish, Shimon, Kalin, and everyone. Thank you everyone for coming back and listening to me, and obviously extending your understanding of Buddha's teachings. So in a few minutes time we will have evening chanting, and then followed by the guided meditation. So you're most welcome to join both chanting and and then guided meditation. If not, then we'll see you tomorrow at 6:30. But as I always say, if you cannot follow the talk and the chanting, I would encourage you to come for the meditation at 7:30. That is the most essential part of Buddha's teachings. Practice only makes you understand the Buddha's teachings. Doesn't matter where you start. The Buddha's teachings is like a nectar. Wherever you start, it just connects one after another. Once you have understood one, gradually you will link one after another. So I always encourage you to come for the meditation. So with this, may you be happy, peaceful, stay safe, and take care. May the Buddha bless you.